This is a demonstration of Freudian and Adlerian therapeutic techniques. We have a client named Mr. Thomas who comes to a counselor regarding his apprehensions of marriage. Mr. Thomas is a 42-year-old welder in a safe making company who lives with his mother. He has 3 married sisters and a father who passed away 8 years ago. He is satisfied with work and family life except for his worry of getting married. He is disturbed by the thoughts of not being good for the girl he has met and fears losing her. Let us see how the session goes.
Hi, Mr. Thomas. How are you feeling today?
Hi, ma'am. I'm doing good, though I'm still anxious about the relationship.
So why don't we try a little activity today, Mr. Thomas?
What kind of activity, ma'am?
Okay, are you okay with imagining a few scenarios that I suggest? I just want you to try and act as if these scenarios are actually happening in your life.
Alright, ma'am. I will try my best.
First thing I want you to imagine is that this girl that you have been talking to has come to meet your mother at home. So imagine both of them are sitting together and talking. What do you think about this?
Actually, ma'am, I feel good and positive. I never actually imagine such things. I always imagine negative scenarios, and visualizing, something like this is different. It's a good difference. You can say that from the grin on my face, I guess.
Yes, I do see that, Mr. Thomas. I appreciate that you're really trying this with me. Now, why don't you try and visualize that this girl is talking to you after meeting your mother?
Wow. I don't know what to say, ma'am. I am surprised and I'm excited too. I actually feel good about her now.
This visualization activity gives Mr. Thomas an opportunity to enact an alternative or a preferred outcome through reflective questions. This restores the negative and anxiety causing aspects of his personal narrative. I believe humans are self-directed, creative, and are able to make choices regarding their life goals. Mr. Thomas acts as if these constructs by which he engages in everyday life are absolute truth rather than social constructs which are contextually situated.
Okay, so Mr. Thomas, how would you describe your childhood to be?
It was quite pleasant, ma'am.
Okay, in the previous session you had mentioned that you have 3 older sisters and that you share a very cordial relationship with them. Can you recall any childhood memories?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I fondly remember my school days. There was this once when I took part in an annual day function. Yeah. And everyone was just in awe of me. Like, they came to me, congratulated me, and gave me their blessings. And ma'am, I was not that good at studies, but when it came to extracurricular activities, especially performing with my guitar on stage, I was the number one choice.
Okay.
Since Mr. Thomas is the youngest among his siblings, he has an ardent desire to be the center of attention. That is why the most memorable memory of his life was when everyone was in awe of him. Moreover, while talking about his relationship with his sisters, he mentioned that he is the only one that is unsettled. That portrays his inferiority complex.
Thomas is clearly using compensation as an ego defense mechanism. He is not good in studies, so he focuses more on music and extracurricular activities. Even later in adulthood, he overworks himself to fulfill the void in his personal life.
Okay. So, Mr. Thomas, now can you tell me one not so good experience that you have had recently or something from your past?
Ma'am, when you ask this, I can think of the worst situation that I had been was when I went to meet this girl for the first time, and I couldn't speak at all. I thought she would not like me at all. I am not that educated, and my house. I decided for myself that she would reject me then and there itself.
That sounds really disturbing. Then, how did you guys start talking so well?
Oh, that, ma'am, is exactly opposite of the experience that I had. 2 days after our first meet, she called me and I started panicking, when I saw her name on my phone. But she talked casually and, she talked about herself and even asked me how I was feeling. I felt so relieved. I told her all about my worries and she listened to me patiently and she even tried to calm me down. That feeling there, ma'am, I don't know, but it was some connection there.
Okay, so that might have been interesting for you, right?
This technique is used to highlight the control the client can have over their emotions. It is based on the notion that behind each feeling there is an underlying cognition. If a client can change the cognition and what one is thinking about, then they can change the emotional reaction.
So, why don't we try and tell a story then?
Okay, we could definitely try that.
Great. So now I will show you a picture. You have to make a story from that picture. Is it fine till now?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. So here is the picture. Your story should tell me what is happening in that situation, what are they talking and thinking and feeling, and what is the outcome of the situation. Are the instructions fine? Fine?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. So now you can tell me a story.
Okay, ma'am. Looking at the picture, I can see that it is a husband and wife who just got married, trying to talk to each other. I am guessing they like each other but are shy to talk. Though it takes a minute or two, the husband leans forward and asks, "How do you like my house?"
That is a great story, Mr. Thomas.
Projected his insecurities to the man in the picture. Though he feels optimistic about his relationship, his fear can be seen as the conflict arises when he addresses the house. Many of his past alliances were rejected upon seeing his house. This time too it arises in his story. Although he feels optimistic, this test brought out his insecurities and conflict.
Now, Mr. Thomas, can you tell me a dream that you have had recently or any recurring dream?
Oh, that is interesting because I had this weird dream. I was in an open space, a cloudy day, feeling the wind, but I was struggling to walk towards something. Like I had a goal, but I couldn't reach there because I was being pulled back. And when I turned around to see what's pulling me back, I saw my ma standing there.
Is a common case of Oedipus complex that all boys face. This complex is a representation of sexual feelings that a boy has towards his mother. His mother has always shown control over his life and he still abides by it because of his inability to move on from this attraction. He tells about a storm coming that could be the conflict that he's facing. The goal might be his new relationship, but the feelings for his mother are holding him back.
I tell you, Freud just thinks in one direction. Dreams are expressive of an individual's lifestyle, emotions, and actions which serve as a problem solving function. This is understood when dreams are brought to consciousness. Mr. Thomas is striving to reach his goal, that is to get married to this girl. He is faced with difficulties and a rage of emotions, the fear of losing the girl, The anxiety of starting a new family other than his mother poses a problem to which he should find solution.
So, Mr. Thomas, you have done very well in this session. When you go back today, I want you to think of more positive images with this girl in your future. And I want you to keep these images in your mind or make a note of them before you can come for the next session.
My projective techniques helped Thomas bring out his inner conflicts, and now it is only a matter of time till he resolves.
For once, I agree with you. Even I think he was able to not only bring out these thoughts, but also make meaning out of his dreams, childhood experiences, and conflicts he faced.
Clearly, my techniques work better for him, and he is now clearer about his experiences and his urges.
I think both of us worked in our own ways to help Mr. Thomas realize what his state of mind is. But you always have to make everything a competition.